is sell 20 key property partners sell 25 million in commercial real estate, primarily being multifamily assets. Then what are three priorities that must be achieved to reach that goal?
Here's Benji. He's been waiting for us. Okay.
And then
3 priorities.
Yeah. So 3 priorities. And then like those priorities can be, most likely one of them will be like, and these should all be listed off as SMART goals, like specific, measurable, actionable, repeatable, and time-based, I think is what that is. Yes. And one of those is always like lead generation, something specific, measurable, is like priority number 1 many times and in the key property partners world. And then there's 5 strategies within each priority that help you reach that. There'll be 5 strategies that help you nail that priority. So, if you just think about like all the KPIs, a lot of it can be boiled down to like, obviously 25 million. To get to 25 million, we would hope that at least 70% of our listings close. So then to get 70% of our listings closed, we have to have a certain number of listings because we're a listing focused team, right? So, and then you have to kind of know your average price point, which I think we're probably trending towards the higher side this year of like 600,000 or 700,000, maybe 500,000 or 600,000. So then how many listings would you have to hit 25 million divided by 600,000? So we'd have to have 25 million divided by 600,000. Be 41. That would be if we actually sold that. If we actually sold every listing, then we would need 41 listings at 600,000. So you're trying to get to like, what is that priority? But that's still not the priority. Like 41 listings is kind of not the priority. What I think the priority, it's likely going to come down to appointments. Like how many appointments do we have to set to close? And there's some math problem out there that then you take, if you only sold 70% of your listings, how many listings would you need to get to actually 41 sold listings with an average sale price of 600,000? So I would say priority number 1 in the key property partner world would be setting. Say we take down 50% of the appointments we go on. Probably need 120 to 100. We will have this number next week because we have our yearly property partners planning thing. But it's like we need to set 150 seller appointments for $600,000 properties. So to do that, then what has to happen? The team has to lead generate from 9 to 11 a.m. every day. The cold callers, which Benji and Drew are working on, has to be cold calling 35 out of 40 hours a week. The mail we have to hit our budget for our mail send every month. We need to do our email marketing consistently every week. So then that you could see how that would build out priority number 1 with the 5 strategies. And then the next one, a lot of times, is like, how are we, like, I like to think is like, we are the top option. We are striving to be the number 1 option for a boutique multifamily sales team in Cincinnati, Ohio. How do we do that? We increase our skills. We go to networking. We, all these things that help us become better agents and brokers and property analysts, like all those things. Those are different strategies within that priority. And then you have to think about the 3rd priority. And that's your goal. Like, you just build your year out based on that. Like, if we really believe that and we feel confident about that, we hit these 3 priorities, then we're going to hit our number one goal, which is selling 25 million in real estate. So
Awesome.
I'm working. I have a lot of time set aside on Friday where I'm doing that same strategy for Hatch,
Okay.
where I'm doing the 135 for Hatch. And then from that will come out priorities. And then you asked, this is all my long-winded answer to your what are the lingering things, is I'm building out like a very spaghetti at the wall 135 right now on Monday.com for Hatch. I'm just talking about like the things that I know that have to be done if we're going to run at a fast pace with the Hatch business. And like the things that are on there right now is thoroughly define my buy box more than it is right now. Build our property analysis program, which I was just spending time with Benji this morning working on. Like one of the bigger problems we have is analyzing properties and opportunities at scale and using like creative financing, being able to write more offers with creative financing, finish a prospectus, which is going to help us raise money so that we can buy more deals, figure out the funnel, which we're working with you on, find an acquisitions agent, define the budget for the next 6 months till the end of June, finalize my 135 and 411. So big things that are going on. Those are big things that are going on in my mind right now.
Awesome. So of these, just like a little FYI, right? So we kind of defining the buy box, we can deal with that one. That one's pretty easy. What are you guys doing for the property analysis programming? Like, how's that being built out? What are your ideas? Like, where are you going with that one?
Yeah, totally open for ideas here. If you want, I can share with you what we're doing right now. It might be the best way.
Yeah, let me yeah, let's do that. Let's see what you got.
Benji, feel free at any point while I'm talking here to elaborate or fill in as needed.
Because I think this is like the new frontier of the internet, like what we're talking about now. How do we take data, analyze it, and spit out something on the other end? Like, is this good?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
and I know a lot of people that are working on this similar project.
Really?
So I think it could be beneficial to get those people together, including yourself and Benji, to see what they're doing.
All right.
And whether it's like you guys be like, oh, that's a good idea, we're going to build that. Or maybe, they can help you build it. I don't know. But using AI is like the way for sure.
I know that too. I totally know that. And I think like we're unfortunately stuck in some like decade-old practices right now, which work, but
yeah,
also like the world's moving way, way faster than it used to a decade ago. And like keeping up with all of it is tough. So, 3 to 5 times a week, I've got this analyze deals time block on my calendar. I was working on it this morning. Within my calendar, Benji's got the Google Drive set up, which houses a lot of different, we call them property packages, which we will load in rent rolls and financials and whatnot. And then on Monday.com, we built out kind of like a deal flow, which I spent time this morning. There were like 5 or 6 properties in here, and I've got this down to 1, which I think we're working on writing a letter of intent on that. So people would put their properties in here. Benji, when Debbie sends you deals, how does it get to this point? How does it get to where you have the address and then the Google Drive, which takes us to the rent roll, and it's listed on Crexy, so we get a little bit of a high level view of it. We got a rent roll with some.
Yeah, so I create a Google form for Debbie and Merle. So in the Google form, it would ask them to upload the rent roll, the T12, and any other information for the property. And then once I receive that, it goes immediately into the Google Drive, and then I just have to organize them and put them into a folder and then rename, and then add other documents that she manually sends us via email, and then I transferred them in Monday by manually entering the information and then attaching the Google Drive link.
Okay, I got that. Understood.
So then on my end, like this morning, I looked at this one. This is the main performa calculator that we use for everything, right?
Cool.
So like we have a template, we duplicate the template. I click here, duplicate this morning, and then I took this property and then I just plug in the numbers that they want. So they want 1.195 million. Wild price. It's been on the market for almost a year. They're getting 8,400 in rents.
Jeez. They're really optimistic, aren't they?
Yeah, which is $1,050 per unit, and they say it can get 1,200. This particular agent has a lot of listings out there that are around a year. Not doing a great job. Doing a good job, like I'll get you 1.2 million. People are like, really? Great, I'll take it to market.
Jeez.
Drew and I just don't take the listings. Like just like, no, just come back to us in a year once you've wasted a lot of time. We'll be happy to help you. So they make a little bit of money off charging back for water. Took some other numbers from their expenses. The water bills are not much. Number should actually be higher. It should be actually equal to that. Gas and electric. It was built in 2024, so they did. Anybody building in 2024 is going to have done a good job of like sub-metering all the gas and electric, so the owner doesn't have any expenses except exterior lights. Nice. That trash number is correct. I make assumptions on new construction that, hey, it's just newly built. The maintenance and replacement reserve should be very low for the future. And then I insulate ourselves because we know nothing about the area. If it's Cincinnati, Ohio, I put a 5% vacancy factor in there. Anywhere else, I go between 7 to 10%. And then I let the agent or the seller convince me otherwise of why it should be 5% and then prove it. Confident I would get 8% management fee. These are the taxes upon sale. Insurance is around that number. And then whatever, if we just run it at today's interest rate, I love losing 21% of money a year.
It's why you're in business. Exactly.
Right. So then I say, well, how does it actually work? And it doesn't work. It probably works for somebody in Bowling Green for that number, for like a 1% interest rate on a 25-year AM, but I'm not going outside of Cincinnati to go invest for like rates that I would balk at in Cincinnati. Like I want much better. So yeah, it's been on the market for over a year. I'm like, they listed it at a ridiculously aggressive price. I'm going to give a ridiculously aggressive offer. So from there, I reverse engineer to a cash on cash that I know I would accept. I'm paying them a ridiculous cap rate, but the only way this deal works is if I get a 7-year balloon on 0% interest, 30-year AM, and I'll give you $119,000 and $3,000 a month. Like they're gonna say no at this, but this is at least a like digestible property, and it's close enough. Like it's no skin off my back. Whatever. And then I also like, okay, well, here's what it looks like, at a cash offer. Like I'll give you the cash or commercial loan at 700,000, which was $500,000 less, which I'm sure they built it for way more than that, but that barely works,
Yeah.
With today's interest rate. I might be able to get 6.15, but it's going to be 25-year AM, all the same numbers. Except for here. So we would put that. So then we showed you yesterday, we had the LOI template within Monday.
Did we go through the LOI templates yesterday?
I think we showed you, and you
did a lot yesterday.
Hold on here. So then I manually go plug that in right here, right? You seeing that?
I see 5. Yes, the
Okay.
bakers. Yeah.
And then I go to
Oh,
this
right. This.
documents column, go to fill out LOI, and then we get the link, and then I go get fill out LOI. I choose this is an offer or an LOI for Hatch, because sometimes we're writing them for our clients. Put that address in, and then I have to go take those 2 scenarios that I just built out in a pro forma and type out a lot of information that Benji then goes and fills in manually. Benji, do you fill that in manually?
In Monday.
No, when you go write the LOI in the template, do you fill that out manually?
Yes.
Yeah. So then Benji will fill that out manually. He'll send it back to me. I'll review it and make sure it looks good. I'll say I will usually say, all right, sign it, and then send it on my behalf to Debbie, who's our bird dog, and she'll go put it in front of the seller.
Cool. Well, good news is we can automate through Go High Level most all of that process. So we can get rid of both. You got 2 Google Forms that you're using. We can build that inside of Go High Level as a form, which will cut out a lot of like the manual like input from spreadsheet to opportunity. Opportunity may not be the right word you're used to, but like from there to the LOI and like all that manual back and forth, we can automate a lot of that stuff so that you specifically, Adam and Benji, like you guys will probably have to do like 50% less.
Great. Okay, cool. So, and then all that started like with the question, like, how are you analyzing? Like that's, let me share this with you.
Thank you.
So if it's just a straight, like, you know, like the uncomplicated world of creative financing is like, if this guy, just imagine he had owned this property for 20 or 25 years and he's selling it for 1.2 million, and he's only got like 75,000 left in debt. So my down payment of 10% at 119,000 clears out his debt with the bank. He now owns the property free and clear, and then he gets to be in first lien position, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets to be in first lien position. This is like the simplest creative financing deal that there is. We did a 30 unit like that last summer in 2024, where we took out the seller's debt, hefty-ish down payment, like 18% down payment, and then he's carrying the rest for 7 years. But where it's getting complicated is within sub 2 there's a calculator. I don't know where it's at. Anyways, within sub 2 there's a calculator that, do you know like the difference between like Morby methods, hybrids, and like seller carrybacks and all that stuff, Bill?
I do. The Morby method is still the most confusing of them all, but I understand them all.
Same. So I think Drew kind of has it figured out, but I don't.
Yeah, I get it theoretically, but there's still a lot of gaps in my knowledge of like, how does this actually work? Why would somebody do this?
Right. So we're working on I'm working on creating like a simplified version of this, because essentially this is just one lien scenario. One of my partners on our this substantial like size of my portfolio, we have 105 doors together. He's a freaking savant and like Michigan business school grad. Anyways, he's working on building out a lean to scenario on this, where essentially you'll have, this is lien 1, you know, where I'm kind of outlining right here. That's lien 1. He's going to build out a scenario for lien 2 where like we're doing a deal, and I'm doing a deal in Indiana where I'm assuming government debt of like $1,050,000, and that's at like a wild 1% interest rate. It's crazy.
Wow.
And then the seller is agreeing to carry like $500,000 or $600,000, and like this calculator we cannot blend the two interest rates in that one because seller wants like 4%, and then it's only for like 500,000 or 600,000 carry. So essentially, it's going to take liens 1 and lien 2, and then it's going to it's going to put the combined debt service right here. And that's how you get to cash on cash. You take the gross income minus the total expenses minus the debt service, and that's the annual cash flow. Cash on cash is created by, give me 1 second, is the cash investment, annual cash flow divided by the cash investment. So we're working on creating that. Somebody's got a calculator out there that already does this, and Sub 2 has provided it to everybody. Benji spent an hour yesterday, an hour today working on it, and there's like fields that are broken in it. And Sub 2 is just not built out for multifamily guys. Ultimately, like we are kind of like the redheaded stepchilds in Sub 2,
Yeah.
so there's not a lot of support for it.
So you were talking about creating, like the struggle you're having is that second position. How do you incorporate that into your underwriting? Is that am I getting that correctly? So like there's the interest, there's the debt interest rate, which you guys have in here already built in, but then how do you incorporate the seller finance portion of it into this?
Right. Well, in this particular calculator, right? I think I'll be able to figure it out on this simplified page.
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to figure that out.
So the way I was just trying to find a spreadsheet, I'm in the wrong one. Let me share something with you. See if I can find it real quick. So have you met Caleb Christopher? Okay. He owns Creative TC, Creative Transaction Consultants, and they do a ton of TC work, and he's opening up an actual title company through Owners Club. And so he's like one of the OGs, and he has a really good, here we go, calculator. But I think the way he solves it is really interesting. Yeah, okay, this will do. It may not be like your number one way to do it, but so he's got a cash flow analysis tab here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so he's got like the cash flow analysis, which is super similar to what you just showed me. All that stuff's right here.
Yep.
The way that you calculate the seller finance portion of it is, you can see here we have principal interest 1, principal interest 2, and principal interest 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if this was like the actual debt on the property,
Mm-hmm.
all you would do is you would come through on this other tab with the mortgage, and you would calculate the mortgage info.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd calculate that second position,
Mm-hmm.
and then just put it back in here.
Do you have to put it in, or does it automatically know to pull it from that other tab?
I don't think it automatically pulls it, but you could very simply just, do that.
Right.
Excuse me, hold on. But that's like a super simple way, because then you can go back here and figure out, okay, like what's the number I need, what's the interest rate, what's the term, here's the amount, and then you just plug it back in here. And it sounds like that could be a simple solution for you as well. Just add another row into your principal and interest, and just keep a note on it, seller carry at 1% or whatever it is.
Yeah, so on this particular scenario, then, okay, they've got the cash on cash return down below. And they're doing they're doing a 10% CapEx and management. Okay. Yeah, that's, that's interesting.
I'm going to put this in the chat.
Thank you.
That's not it.
And does it have does it run it out too for like multiple years, like 5 years, kind of showing what cash flow will be and down the road type scenario? Yeah, years two through 5. Okay.
This is not his like most up-to-date one.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably got an up-to-date one, but it's really good. It's useful.
Yeah, I think
put a lot of time into it.
And it's like, if you think about the process of it too, like you're not always going to get to like, oh, we need to run 2 scenarios out of the gate. Like the first natural step is like, it's just that you send the offer and like, here's what I would do. I'd bring like what I said, I'd bring 110,000. I'd pay your number, and then you do that for 7 years. And then ultimately the seller is, if they're not insulted, says like, hey, we can't do that. We have 400,000 that we owe. And then at that point, then you have to start understanding like the Morby method and the hybrids and like doing a DSCR loan with whatever else. And then doing that at scale will require having a badass research and analyst on the team, I think, because I don't know how, like, I can't be in that seat to do it at scale, but I could see, when we talked about all the different ways of making money, and like the double close is one of them, but like essentially you go create a creative finance, just like you see people pitch within the Sub2 Facebook group. And I don't know, are they using that website that Pace built out, the creative listing website? I don't know. You go say, hey, seller, listen, like this deal doesn't work for me, but I know I've got somebody in my network that would buy this. If you're cool with it, I'll lock this up at this price. I'm going to go try to make a few bucks. I'll sell it to them, and you can vet them and underwrite them and decide if they're a good person that you want to be in bed with for another 7 years, and take it from there. And then, you go underwrite and package the deal and then put it out in the Sub2 community. But that's got to be a very skilled person that can say, okay, they said no to this, then what? Now I take this information and this debt and whatever.
Yeah. So in terms of like what you just said, what I heard was, and this is pretty common from my understanding in single family, maybe not so much in multifamily because I don't have that much experience with it. What you're saying is like the hardest part with these creative deals, like just getting that first LOI out there to them, even though it's like missing information, like you maybe don't know the debt on it, number one. So it's like just getting that out there and being like, hey, we don't know some of the information to make this better, but here is an offer that we can give you with what we have, the information we have.
Yeah, I would say it's twofold. It's that, and it's also right now it's not only like a good analyst that's in the seat, but it's also like a good acquisitions person that can get that offer out, and then once the rebound reply comes, be able to run with that. And that acquisitions person is smart enough, because I could figure that out. I'm time constrained right now. So I think it's a twofold. It's not understanding like the actual scenario, but you're never going to understand it until you submit the offer. So submit the offer. Probably only 5% of the people actually respond because you're not giving them what they need, and they had a bad agent that told them what the price that they thought they could get, so they're stuck in fairy tale land for a long time. And 5% of people respond, and then those are the deals you work.
Cool. So getting that like LOI out with the basic information, we can automate a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
So it's like, put it in to go high level, press a few buttons, send it out, send the text, have somebody call, hey, I just sent this. It could be in your spam. I also sent you a text message with a link to it, that type of thing. And then it's like your acquisition team, we could set the follow-up on that to be like, we set in an LOI. Here's a task. Go do this thing.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. That You sure did have a lot on your mind in 24 hours. All right, so we got the 135. That's kind of going on over here. I'm back in Miro. Do we have bird dog buy box? I want to put on our list of like things to do is underwriting, workflow. Yeah. Okay, so back in Miro, where do you want to start in Miro? We've got 20 some minutes left.
Yeah, so this exercise has been good so far. Just kind of like,
Yeah. So
go ahead,
oh,
Benji.
sorry,
No,
I wasn't.
You got it. Go for it. Benji, are you
Oh.
talking to us or are you talking to, oh, he's talking to somebody else. Okay.
Oh.
Him and Drew are taking a listing live today.
Fun.
So I guess like, I have to do this 135 and 411, which will help further define like answering some of your questions. But ultimately, I'm curious and intrigued as to like as you listen to this, like, can you envision a like just the system, and it doesn't have to all be go high level, but like, can you envision the touch points that are going to be built out within the Hatch world that start leading to more opportunities that then we start nurturing and taking deals down. And like, I guess, what is that step? Is that starting to decide like, okay, go high level does go high level like does it integrate with like ballpoint mailers? That's who we just started using for the key property partner side. And like I think I'm just antsy to just start seeing like what does the build out of the funnel start to look like. And
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's ballpoint mailers.
Uh-huh.
I don't know specifically, but my guess is in 2025, most all mailing systems use Zapier to help with information sending back and forth.
Yep.
So we'll have to dig into more about what it is that they integrate, ballpoint mailers, and like what we can do with them. So anytime that we can use Zapier to zap anything, we can do it. We can use that information inside GHL.
Okay.
So there's a lot we can do. I'm just pulling up their website here. There's nothing much on this, is there? Yeah, we'll need to learn more about what their integrations are, like what information they can zap back and forth.
Yeah, and I'm not married to them. I mean, we just committed to a 6-month mailing program with them, but that is the first one that went out is more towards me because I'm in the middle of a 1031 exchange right now. But every piece of mail after that will be key property partners related. Okay. So whatever works best and like is seamless and that you and your team feel like is great with go high level, that's fine.
So when we look at Miro, let's see, what screen am I on? Here we go. We have, where's our mailers? So we don't have mailers on here yet as like an action item. So what I'm going to do is I pulled the ballpoint mailers all the way over to the right. And what we can start discussing is like, what does that look like, right? Like, what does the sequence look like from you gathering the mailer data? So like, who gets the data? Like where does the data come from? Who are you sending it to? All the way down to like, how many times do we send it to them? Yep. How do we know if we're going to continue sending it to them? All of that product, like all of that workflow is something we can work on as well, so that, again, coming back to your 135, so we can track that, because one of your 135s for key properties was, are we spending the money for mailers? Is that a good KPI? Just like, did we spend it? Awesome. Is that good to know that? Or is it better to go more granular and say, we did spend it, but we spent it on people we've never sent it on, and we have also spent it every 4 weeks to those same people for, I don't know, 3 sessions, so for a full month or a full year. And then we know we've sent mailers to this person for a year. What do we do next? Do we just stop sending to them? Do we send them something different? Do we say, oh, we're out of this market now, so we don't want to send it after a year to this market, but we still want to send it to another market after a year because this is still a really hot market that's up and coming and cheaper, and like there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
So we have that to think about. And that's really what we're going to be doing with not only like your mailers, but cold callers, the underwriting. What does that process look like from, you get a referral from somebody to look at a property? What is the step-by-step process? And we kind of went through that today with your underwriting. And I really appreciate you showing me that. And what we're going to do next is like actually document it step by step, so that we can see what you're doing now. And then I can say, yep, you do this now. We're going to go do it this way and go high level. And we're going to cut out all these extra processes so that we can save you guys time.
Okay.
So we're going to do mailers. Let's see, duplicate. I guess we'll just call that like underwriting. So these will be like the processes. You think about it that way. Like, what are the workflows for each of them? What other workflows do you have in your mind that you guys do?
Yeah. So as we're like putting this out, like now I'm starting to like think of like, okay, what does the top of the funnel look like? What is all the crap that we're putting in there that hopefully like leaks out to the bottom in an efficient and clean way? So like I would say things that we're not committed to, but the ones that come to mind are like Benji and Drew are nearing the tail end of a cold caller search for key property partners that Benji's been spearheading and has created a job. Him and Drew have created a job description. I don't know all the places that they put that. Surely it's an Upwork. Benji, are you frozen right now? Or are you in a deep stare? Benji looks like he's frozen. Such a stoic look.
It's always the best.
So cold callers, I would also then to the right of that, I would say like, again, not married to this. I've already gotten, a hand slap before, but like SMS campaigns. Benji can speak on what that looks like. Email campaigns to the right of that. Like, is that worth any time? We already talked about mail. You, Bill, mentioned paid ads. That's really interesting, especially just considering like both my parents and my wife's parents are divorced and they got remarried. So they had 6 grandparents at one point. One of them passed away, and now there's 5. Now there's 5 left, and 4 of those 5 are obsessed with Facebook. Like, they just freaking live on it, dude. It's nuts. And I'm just like, now none of them, except for my dad, who I helped buy a 2-family years ago, own rental property. That's not true. Okay, Chelsea's parents have a rental property down in Florida. But then my mom has nothing. But none of them are by any means like multifamily like experts or investors. So I'm like, is that person that's like me? Is that person that's me like 20 to 25 years from now who is like I can actively, and like I pay for different software. I don't know if you've heard of Brick. I recently paid for Brick to stop my social media usage. Is that person that is now 60 to 70 years old? Is that person that's 60 to 70 years old? Like, are they disciplined enough to realize that social media is a freaking waste of time and they shouldn't be scrolling in it? Or like, are they in there? Like, and is that a good way to spend some advertising dollars to multifamily owners? Like, I don't even know how you target it. Like I remember we used to do targeted ads on some of our listings, and we would try to get those in front of people who had selected real estate as an interest, and they were of a certain age. Like we thought people between the ages of like their late 20s to their mid 40s would be the best buyers of the smaller multifamily that we were selling at the time. So we would pick that. I don't know if it did anything or not, but anyways, that's the end of my rant on the paid ads. Like, do you
paid ads it works, right? Like it definitely works 100%. Your people are on there undoubtedly. There's going to be people like you talked about that are like blocking Facebook, that are, like, this is rotting my brain. Then you've got the other end that are like, I love my brain rotting. This feels good. This is dopamine. And then they're stuck. And then there's some people in between, right?
Right.
But paid ads it's like a whole thing in itself. Like it's an adventure. It's a journey. Like we've got a lot of journeys on here that are like not so long and like scary. Paid ads is like, you got to prepare for it and be ready to like be beat up, because even if you're hiring somebody that really, really knows what they're doing, it's still going to take 6 months to like find the thing that works. And it will work, but you got to be ready to like, damn, I just spent $6,000 last month, nothing happened. Damn, I just spent $6,000 again this month, nothing happened. And then like maybe on the third month, something happens and it's a $50,000 win.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the type of thing you have to like prepare for. And most people are not at all. They're like, I'll just put $100 to it. And like, oh, I spent $600. It doesn't work. Facebook sucks. It's like, well, you didn't really try hard. Like you didn't put enough effort into it. So totally there. If you guys want, I know somebody that is doing really well with Facebook ads. They run a lot of ads inside the group, and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month for themselves and for others running ads. So it's like, you got to be prepared to like really put some money down and have a 6-month view on it. So be careful. We could talk about that. It's not something I would say like, let's tackle right now. It seems like that's probably like a fire that's kind of further away.
Yep.
As a strategy. The other strategies I have are local SEO. So that's websites. I know you said in the beginning that you guys are doing awesome without websites, which is incredible. But getting your local SEO up there is just going to be capturing more of those leads, right? Because people are searching all over the place, and when they search online, they need to find you.
Yep.
Google business listings, just like when you go search on a Friday night for your favorite Chinese food and then you hit directions to go pick it up, people are still searching for a company to sell their multifamily, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's actually take an example here. So what's the actual town you live in?
Milford, Ohio.
I don't know if this is like the right words, but we'll see. Realtor. Seems like a good set of words. I'm looking to see what these results are and if we can compete with these things, and if a Google business listing shows up. So it doesn't. One of these will show a Google business listing.
Yeah, we're a little. Oh, that's interesting. You might want to try Pleasant Ridge. Like change Milford for Pleasant Ridge. 2 words.
So I spell Pleasant.
SANT. Yeah. Like one of
So
the
you can see like
spent a lot
these
of.
words.
Yep.
Do you recognize like these people at all, or these people, or like are these your competitors?
No, I mean I know Equity is a property management company. Low Miller, we've done some deals with them, but nothing.
Maybe this is a better word. So like targeting these words, there should be a word, because if we just go with like this, we should get a bunch. Yeah. So
There you
see,
go.
like you're not here. We just went to like straight real estate broker.
Yep.
I really wanted to see like what the commercial looked like. Okay, there it is. So these two people,
Which is wild. Those people are 100% residential. Like they're 95 to 99%. That Cindy Shetterly, like she's probably 99% residential. Shabri is probably 95% residential.
so these are paid Google business listings. They're
Mhm.
sponsored.
Got it.
Which is another like interesting thing to think about, that, and Google is like really weird sometimes about when and where they show the actual ones for real estate, because they do have paid, like, so this guy Hinckley Group, Caldwell Banker, this is organic, so this is just like a normal business listing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no others that show up,
Hmm.
which is so interesting. It's just these sponsored ones. So these people are paying a bunch of money to get shown. This guy is just has a good optimized page. Whether it's like amazing, I don't know. We have to really dig into it, but it's a good sign. It's a good sign. And then getting to show up here and using your Facebook and your socials. And I think the biggest thing with like websites and local stuff, whether it's like your Google business, your local SEO, your Facebook, the biggest thing is just take a bajillion pictures of the houses you're listing, the neighborhoods you're listing in, local businesses, street signs, neighborhood signs. Just take pictures of all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Because what you can do, and this is a site that I've been working on for myself. So we go to neighborhoods, and I live in this neighborhood here. And you could change this to be like Old Colorado City Realtor, right?
Uh-huh.
And then when you take these pictures, we can actually, I built a app that you can log into an admin page here, and you can just upload these automatically. And I use AI, and it captures, it understands what the picture is,
Mm-hmm.
and puts all this words below it. So I don't do anything
Nice.
other than walk around my neighborhood, snap a bajillion pictures, and then I just come here on my phone, I press admin, I use this, wherever I'm at, I'll just do that, and then I'll upload the file, and boom, it just automatically does everything for me. And that way we can add in these descriptions like location, so city. If it's like there's a sign like, this neighborhood, it'll understand that it's in that neighborhood, and it'll include that in the caption. And then we can also always say like add the word real estate agent with some other like fun words in there, like, are you looking for a real estate agent, the best real estate agent? That is going to really boost up your SEO. So Google's like, wow, they've got 1,000 unique pictures on their website, and every picture has a great description of location, what they do, and something specific to the area.
Yep.
And that takes a minute, right? It takes a minute to like get Google to recognize you're doing it. But once Google knows like you're crushing it, it's going to be hard for other people to compete with those pictures and the auto captions from the AI.
Yep.
And yeah, so we will continue to talk about your kind of like top of funnel steps what you're currently doing, what you're thinking about doing, what you may or may not do, and then we'll go down and build out all of the steps below them. Each step, every single step, however small it is, we'll build it out here so that when we get to go high level, we have a roadmap on what to do.
When you are working with just like a single family wholesaler, and like some of the more successful ones that you either work with or have seen, are they touching a lot of these, or are they just like, I am a mailing beast, that's all I do, or I am a paid ads beast, and that's all I do? Are they like kind of like, because my ADHD brain wants me to do all these things, but I need to be coached and manipulated to do the right thing, not what my brain wants to do.
Right. So, the master of all is a master of none.
Yep.
So
Yep.
pick one and crush it and get to $25 million a year with one acquisition strategy, and then move to the next one.
Yeah.
I personally do not like SMS. It's too dangerous. There's just too much that can like break and go wrong and destroy your whole system.
Yep.
Especially as we like move into 26, 27, like the next years to come. Email, I don't know. It's a hard one to even get good emails, but if you can get people on an email list, sure, it's great, whatever. Paid ads, expensive. Local SEO, yes. Google Business Listing, 100%. These are Google Business Listings, like the easy one. Local SEO, a little easier, like a little harder, but it takes a little longer, but your presence is there. I personally think the mailers are the best route to go because there's no laws like going to put you in jail or give you a fine for doing it.
Yep.
And you can really start to understand your metrics if you just hammer down on those.
Yep. I like it too because I feel like we're in a nice little golden era right now of a lot of boomers that are ready to just get the hell out of Ohio or these Midwest areas and go to Florida. And a lot of these guys never learned how to manage their properties with leverage. They've been doing it. A lot of people we talk to, they're doing it themselves, right? And that's the ideal person. Mom and pop owner, ready to get out.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And the mailers are so interesting because it's just like paid ads, but not 2025, right? Mailers are old. And you can you can send them like weird stuff in the mail, like you can put a package with a duck in it, like a squeezy duck, and people will be like, oh, what's this? So you get them to open it. Or like you said, do you have multifamily and you want to go to Florida and then put like a little Florida beach scene on it and like some old person relaxing? Like you're now like digging into like their mind and be like, yeah, I need that. I want that. Who's this guy? How does he know? How does he know that this is what I've been dreaming about? And I hate my property. It's driving me crazy.
Great.
So we can work on like all the mailer sequences, and then what happens when somebody calls in, what number do they call, who on your team gets allocated, assigned to that caller so that they follow that person through the life cycle, that person's their touch point.
Yep.
Tasks that get set up, do they pick up, do they not, like what happens, if then statements, like we're really going to dig into it so that we know.
That's it. And maybe it's good segue into a final comment as we're wrapping this up would be to, I think we've taken a bit of an educated guess as to like the list that we just built out and like what that is. Hey, Drew or Benji, when we just pulled that list in Reonomy or whatever it was, what was it? 10 plus years of ownership.
10 years of ownership.
Benji, you got talking in the background, man. You got something going on in the background.
10 units, 10 years of ownership, at least 4 to 60 units.
10 years
individual owners.
10 years of ownership, 4 to 60 units.
Mm-hmm.
Individual ownership, like no LLCs.
There's LLCs for like 100 of them. Majority was no.
How big was the list?
500.
The list was 500. Was 500 properties long. Only 100 of those had LLCs. All the Huh?
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus, but the rest of them were like Adam Curry. Literally, it would say Adam Curry is the owner. It wouldn't say, yeah.
I love it. I think that's like a really good number, 500, because you can really like you can do a lot of research on the people, and you
Right.
can send like some specific things to them, and it's not like a huge list, and you can manage that list like really easily.
Yep, for sure.
Cool. Awesome. All right. We're meeting Friday. You're going to be working on your 135 in between now and then.
Yep.
Feel free to put that inside of Miro if you so please. If not, we will go and I will learn more about your 135 and we'll just keep on rocking.
All right, sweet, Bill. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Cool. See you guys. Bye.